What's going on? On a Friday night, IDK Sports Podcast. Had to take it back like no thing. If you know, just a BA song, 75 song, really. You know, what's up, everybody? This is IDK Sports Podcast, your premier spot to talk sports with the average guys. My name is Anthony. This is my main man, Kenny.
And
here on a Friday live, started a little later. So if you're rocking with us, I appreciate it. We always appreciate it. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. You know, we back, man. We back, bro. Been gone for a little minute. You know, since we've been gone, since you've been gone, we've been gone for a minute. You know?
Great little half point.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? We had to step away for a little while. Everybody need a little break. Everybody need a little week break. You know what I'm saying? Had to go on vacations. You know, my man planning the wedding. You know, you got, you know what I'm saying? You got some motion.
It's real life happening out here.
We got some motion out here, man. So let's recap since we've been gone. You know what I'm saying? So since we've been gone, a lot of stuff been happening. You know, you had the whole finals that went a totally different way than we thought. You know,
we were wrong.
We were wrong. Went 7 games, man. The finals went 7 games. OKC pulling out at the end. Kind of to me, and I'll let you speak for yourself, but it was kind of like an anticlimactic for me. I wish that Halliburton was healthy for game 7 and didn't mess up his Achilles, because that was really like, I know people, I know we can get to the part where people say it was a low-rated series, but if you didn't watch it, you was missing some damn good basketball in this series. But I kind of think it was kind of anticlimactic because I really wish that every team was at full strength, so we would have got a real great game 7. But nonetheless, injuries are part of the game. Shout out to the Oklahoma City Thunder for their first championship. You know, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander as the MVP. Like I said, man, I think it was a good series. I think for 2 small market teams, I think it showed it was a great series, and I hope people tuned in. I personally think the NBA didn't really market this one great, though. I think the NBA don't know how to market small market teams for things like this. It didn't really feel like it to me. Yeah. I ain't see that many. Maybe I ain't watch TV as much, but I ain't see that many like TikTok commercials, YouTube commercials, like on your YouTube feed, like commercials saying, yo, tonight, ESPN, 7:30. You know, I think some of the games they played a little too late. I personally think like some of the weekend games, you might have got away with a Sunday game, maybe like a 3:30 slot. 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock slot might have helped. I think you played on weird days too, like middle of the weekdays, and kind of not like on some days where people usually at the house, like Mondays. And you try to play a lot of 2 of these games played on a Friday. That's a horrible TV day. I don't care what nobody says. Friday is a horrible TV day because people are outside, especially in summertime. People are outside. So but still a good series. Shout out to OKC. Kenny, how you feel about it?
Nah, man, I just think it would just sticking with that last point. I think it definitely goes against like the typical. You know, it definitely goes against the grain of what, you know, we're accustomed to seeing, or as far as what galvanizes the public. You know, it doesn't take much to sell. Again, the Lakers, Celtics, big market teams. You know, Miami, whatever. You know the usual foes that's in there, but even with that, to Ann's point, like, I don't think the YouTube ads weren't as stellar. You know, even in this day and age where we're kind of moving away from like regular TV, just plugging in with your, you know what I'm saying, with your streaming sites, it wasn't too much hoopla on there too. You know what I'm saying? That was still lackluster. So it's already dealing with 2 small markets. So the fan turnout, the viewership probably is already not gonna look the same. I already know, you know, the commissioner don't like that off top, but please add some support where you can help it. And I think just in a promotional standpoint, it was lackluster. But as far as the on the court play, quality basketball. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to restate what's already been noted, but it does kill that Halliburton got hurt at the end of game 7. But, you know, you still got a good game 5. You still got to before, you know what I'm saying? Like, them pushing to the point where they made a game 7 series. What's there to knock? There ain't no knock for that. You got to salute and you got to respect it, bro. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to SGA. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren. Chet Holmgren had a damn good game 7. You know what I'm saying? Jalen had a big game 5 where he dropped 40. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are the stages where you want to see players take the next step, and that is the stage, if any, to make a name on, and they did, bro. So you can't hate on it too much. I hate again. You want to see that clash of the Titans, especially in a monumental game like a game 7. Halliburton was on a damn heater before he got hurt. You know what I'm saying? I think he had like 9 points.
Yeah. He was definitely ran up for a good game. I ain't gonna lie, he was ran up for a good game. And like back to the media coverage, like I just don't like when I know the Super Bowl is one event, but like you said, like I didn't see the push with the streamers. I didn't see he was paying like the streamers and podcasters. Like I didn't think they looked at any new ways to really market this game to get people excited about it. And a lot of the talk was still hearing some background. But anyway, it might be me tripping. A lot of the talk was also about the Knicks getting their head coach, and then the trades came through, which we'll get to, and stuff like that. And I think it kind of took the lackluster away from this finals, like Tom Thibodeau getting fired, and then the Knicks trying to find a coach. Durant going to the Rockets, which we can get into shortly. I think a lot was happening on the outside, but then at the same time, I was hearing more about the College Baseball World Series than I was about the finals, and ESPN had both of them around the same time. I was hearing about that more than I was hearing about the finals, which was wild to me.
Yeah, why step on the money like that? But it kind of, even with the surrounding news coverage, like and just mission, it kind of made it feel, especially when you got around game 2, game 4, it had that feel of it's just another game, like a regular season game almost. Like that's about the same amount of media hype that I got. It could just be me. I don't want to just generalize my feeling as if it was the public, but it just had that feeling of like, it's just a game on tonight. Never mind, this is the finals. Never mind that we got budding stars that's playing tonight. Never mind the fact like the next generation is taking over, and this is what that looks like for the next generation of stars. But even with that, even with these components already built in, it still had that feel of, the game coming on tonight. You had almost had to remind yourself, ask Alexa, whether these
when the game was, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think again, you got to do your job, right? Especially at ESPN, you got to talk sports news, but nothing should ever take away from the crown jewel, especially a series that was, competitive, and there was quality play. So
that's one part. Shout out OKC, first championship. So let's get next into trades that happened. The big blockbuster trade was, first you had Desmond Bane go to the Magic for a bunch of picks. I think Cole Anthony and Caldwell Pope, and then you had Durant go to the Rockets. From the Suns, I think as far as player wise, they gave up Jalen Green and Dylan Brooks and a bunch of second round picks, maybe some pick swaps, whatever. That was really the highlight trade of the offseason, with Durant going to this Rockets team. Me personally, looking at the trade from just on paper, I love it for the Rockets. The Rockets get a proven scorer in Kevin Durant. That's very efficient scorer. If he stays healthy, I think they can go big places. But you also keep a lot of your talent there. You keep was it Amin or Amon? I don't want to mix their names up. But one of the Thompsons there. You still got a good point guard shooter in Fred VanVleet. You kept Jabari Parker Jr. You kept Sangoon. You kept what's my man off the bench that they couldn't get them points for? Was it Shepard? I can't think of his name. But they kept a lot of their young players that it only gave up Jalen Green for real. Which I think after this playoff series, they realized that Jalen Green's not going to get them where they want to go. He's a good scorer, but if we're trying to win, do something now with this young core, everybody else is kind of ascending, and he was kind of his ascension was a little bit slower. Not saying that he's not going to become a great scorer in this league and average a bunch of points, but if I got a chance to get Kevin Durant and only give up Dylan Brooks and Jalen Green and keep my two big men, point guard, keep my young rising wing player that plays great defense and is showing the ability to score, I think it was a no-brainer. I think the Rockets won this trade easily, and then even with the Suns, with even more trades they're doing, I think the Suns are in total rebuild mode. I don't know what the hell the Suns do, but I think it was a great trade for the Rockets.
So, okay, in that same vein, right? So, what do you say for the folks that say like, all right, even with that Jalen Green is a competent scorer. We can all acknowledge that he is a competent scorer. Maybe he throws you out of rhythm a little bit, or he doesn't give you that much on defense, but he also throws you out of rhythm a little bit on the offensive side of the court. Whereas Van Fleet gonna keep you on rhythm, keep you on time, keep you on schedule. You know what I'm saying? Gonna get the ball to the wing, and he's gonna drop it off in the paint for Sengun. Like we can say all the the buzzwordy things. What do you say to the folks that's like, yeah, I get that, but that's still a young talent? Then keep in mind, Jalen Green is what, 23, 24?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's still a young talent that we could, with time, we could probably add some, get some work in during the offseason. We could probably, there's still some clay there to mold. And instead of bringing in a 35-year-old Kevin Durant,
yeah,
we're not talking about OKC Kevin Durant, or even for that, Golden State Kevin Durant.
Yeah, but Kevin Durant's still a good defender. He's still a good rebounder. He still scores. He gives 25 a night, 25, 30 a night. And you still kept Sengun, Parker, Shepard. You kept a lot of dudes. You kept a lot of other young pieces. You didn't mortgage the future for Kevin Durant. You really just gave up one young piece. You kept Thompson. You kept all the young guys. You kept a ton of them. So I don't. Okay, if I got to give up one piece of that young team, okay. If I give that one piece and it might can get us a chance to get to the Western Conference Finals, easy. Not saying that Jalen Green might go down the road and be a great player, but right now, and I kept everybody else, I think it's a no-brainer. I think you give up. I think you can give that up. That's that simple.
All right. Well, let me add. Okay, but even with that, right? So, in certain cases where you have this offensive stalwart of like your Stephs, your Tatums, where they just have outrageous offensive output, but their defensively they may not be up to par, or they may be a little below on the defensive side. Isn't it typical that to add like a defensive component to kind of offset that? So case in point with like Drew Holiday when he went to the Celtics, he still added defensive prowess where they when they already know they were good on the offensive side of the court. Couldn't that have been worked out there in Houston instead of trying to just ship off Jalen Green?
But now I'm confused. It's like, who would you
instead of ridding yourself of Jalen Green, knowing like you're taking? Okay, how can I say this? It really doesn't fit this portion, because I know like the Rockets still got some scoring left. Ain't like they ship off their whole team. To your point, they didn't ship off their whole team, all their young stars. But to a degree, can't you say like, all right, well, I know we got scores elsewhere, but I wouldn't just get rid of another scorer just because we got too many, or just because we're competent here. I mean, you can always take somebody that can score the ball. Wouldn't you want to just build on or get somebody a defensive player, a more defensive player to kind of offset that what you lack from Jalen Green on defense?
Not in a situation, because you got a 7-foot guy that plays defense.
Perimeter wise,
there's a 7-foot guy that can still play.
That's gonna step out and guard your 2 and your 1, or your 1 and 2.
Kevin Durant is still at this age still a really, really good defender. And you still got a man. I gotta look it up. Thompson, who's probably going to turn into one of the elite on-ball defenders in the league. And he's tall. And then you still got Yeah. For Kevin Durant, he's a 7-foot scoring that can rebound. He still plays really good defense at his age. The whole thing now is if you're gonna take the gamble and see if Kevin Durant can stay healthy. If he stays healthy, this team is going to be really good with that coach.
Okay, so that's the biggest gamble. That's what I'm trying to get to. What do you think is their biggest?
If he stay healthy.
If you had to sign a win, it's easy just to sign a winner and a loser to each trade, right? So what I'm trying to get to is that what is the losing aspect of this? We get KD, we get that he's still 7 foot, still can play defensively, but what is still the risk in this trade for Houston? And I'm
him staying healthy. Him for the next 3 years staying healthy, where you get a chance, give yourself a chance in the next 2-3 years to win a championship. Either this year, next year, or maybe the year after. It's him staying healthy. The Suns just really awful to KD because he didn't want to be there no more. The Suns already said they're probably not gonna keep Jalen Green. Probably gonna trade him anyway. They got Devin Booker. What you need Devin Booker and Jalen Green for? It's not enough ball to go around.
I was about to say, because I was just about to ask you, so what does that mean for the loser side of this? For the Suns, I mean, they probably can. I mean, Jalen Green is a nice chip to bargain with. I'm not gonna lie.
You might go get you some young players, but I don't know what the Suns. The draft night they made some trades that I didn't get. I don't know what the Suns are trying to do. I know they're tanking, but I don't think they know how to tank. So I don't. I don't know if they're trying to tank and keep Devin Booker because I don't think Devin Booker is going to stay. So I don't know what the Suns are trying
to do. And hopefully it's beneficial to him too. Like again, I keep going back to the fact that he's still a young dude, man, and he already shown some good traits in this league already. Speaking for Jalen Green,
yeah, he's a good scorer. So
saying it could still be beneficial for him to still go somewhere and beat a man. Like I don't think he's a lost cause. But I know anytime a trade is brought up, we're always looking to assign a winner or a loser on either side. And I just think that's too young of a talent or too much potential there to just like, all right, just write him off. He's just a bargaining chip now. Because I think that's BS.
Yeah.
I get it, what I'm saying? If KD can turn, if he can still give you some quality years and they, mess around, find themselves, battling it out with SGA next year, then go for it.
Yeah. All right, so this is the last one since we've been gone. I heard this interview, and I just want to kick his back in because he's kind of dumb. Some people need PR teams, but this is Deontay Johnson. I don't know
that one game I told him I wasn't going in.
I heard it and giving him his explanation of why he didn't go in the game at the Ravens in that game that the last season.
Oh,
I wasn't getting into like no run plays, no like passing plays, no nothing.
Wasn't it cold? You said
yeah, it was cold. So I'm on the sideline, just standing there, like just going to the heater back and forth, like going into the fourth or whatever. They're like, "Tay, we need you." I'm like, "Nah, I don't think it's." To me, I don't think it's a good idea for me, like, because like I was thinking about like my legs. I'm already. I don't want to go out there and put bad stuff on film.
Right.
It's not like I didn't want to go in the game, but you got to think like leading up to this point, I done been through so much, and I told him I wasn't going in. I was like, I understand what you're saying, like, but I'm not going to go in. So I just sat on the bench, and then that's when they suspended me.
Why? My question is why? Nobody was remembering this. You went on the interview and made one of the dumbest explanations I ever heard in my life. Dumbest explanations I ever heard in my life. And you made yourself sound even worse. You basically like, I wasn't playing, I wasn't getting a lot of reps in practice, so I didn't need to be there. What's going on, bro? What are we talking about?
Hold on. Yeah, nah, bro. You're an idiot. I'm gonna just go. I ain't even gonna sugarcoat it. I'm gonna just cut straight to it. You're an idiot. Because there's not one guy in a professional football league that's gonna say, "Oh, that's just a career backup." Backups don't have that. Backups don't have that privilege. You know what I'm saying? Like anybody that's already sitting second, third string on a roster and you still get the dress, you still make the 53. You don't have that privilege of saying, nah, I'm not going to go in or I'm worried about what I'm going to put on tape. I'm already behind. I'm already the backup, or I'm the backup, or I'm the backup's backup. If somebody call my name, I'm going in the game. You know what I'm saying? Like a typical backup doesn't have that privilege of just I'm gonna pick and choose when I'm gonna go in the game. I don't care if it's raining cats and dogs. If they playing a tundra every year up there in Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
A snowball every year. You can set your watch by it. You don't get that option, bro. You know what I'm saying? The check's been cut already. You don't really get that option. No, but but what about what I put on film or put on bad tape? Bro, you been in the league how long?
Yeah.
How long you been in the league?
Yeah.
Bro, you've been in the league long enough to where I can say, all right, if you had a bad game, you had a bad game. That's how long you've been in the league. I'm not gonna count one game against you and say like, oh, well, that's just who he is.
Yeah.
You sold out. You sold out for your squad, bro, and it's easy. We can just say that. We can just say that. We ain't gotta BS. We ain't gotta shoot. You know what I'm saying? Pick around the bush like that. You sold out on your squad, and we can just say that.
Yeah. So
I ain't hearing that it's fourth quarter and we run the ball. Nah, bro, you don't want to play. You don't want to play.
Yeah, you didn't want to play.
And good for Harbaugh. Sit your ass down.
Yeah. So this hurt that, I don't know why. My biggest thing is why did you just let this die and why'd you bring it back up? You made it worse for yourself. But people don't have no PR teams. But
where is he at now? What is he doing now?
He got signed with the Panthers, low key. I ain't even gonna hold you.
Is he? Okay. He's on the Browns now. He's on the Browns.
That sounds about
right. And that's your best hope. Because that receiver room ain't shit. Excuse my language. Excuse my language. Yeah, that wide receiver room ain't that damn competitive. So good luck.
Yeah.
And it's cold in Cleveland too, by the way.
So let's get right into it. Over the past 2 days of Wednesday and Thursday, the NBA had its annual draft, NBA players draft, and of course it was highlighted by Cooper Flag, number one pick that everybody knew was going to be the number one pick. And let's just start there. Some people say generational talent. Some people say good talent. I heard some people comparing him to Kawhi. Some people comparing him to like a great two-way player. Me personally, when it comes to Cooper Flag, I think Cooper Flag is in a perfect situation to win early and not be asked to do too much. I mean, this Dallas team already has Anthony Davis. They have PJ Washington. They have a Daniel Gifford. They have like a good, solid, when all healthy, a good lineup. He's going to come in and be able to put a 3 or 4. And I think he's going to play hard, going to play good defense. He gives you about 15 to 17 a night, maybe just off of hustle points, but some plays will be ran from him. But I think he's a very athletic kid. I think he's fallen into a great situation where he doesn't have to be a great scorer. He doesn't have to be offense early. And I think that's really big, especially like with AD already there and when Kyrie get healthy, Kyrie coming back. I think the Mavs got a good two-way player that can turn into a generational talent maybe, but he doesn't have to be that for this to be a success at Dallas.
Yeah. I just think about how fortunate they are, just a year removed from a Luka trade. And just like that, we're right back with what is the consensus best player in the draft this year. Yeah. That's just a great turn of fortune right there. You know what I mean? And he's still a playoff team at that, or a contender at that. So everything in a nutshell, best situation just from another standpoint is that they got heavy veteran leadership in that locker room. Even down to your Spencer Dinwiddie's, like you still got a good mix of veterans. AD, Kyrie, Clay is still there. Like, you know what I'm saying? You got some true basketball players, like people that know the game, know ball. So for the first 3 to 4 years, yeah, kick back, learn the game. You know what I'm saying? You still gonna get your burn, still gonna get your tick, but that first 4 is gonna set up his next 12. You know what I'm saying? So great situation. So by the time they turn the keys over to him, it's gonna be all right. Now it's your turn, passing the torch. Now you take and you run with it.
Yeah, so that's him. Next pick was Dylan Harper, guard out of Rutgers, because I still thought I really think in this draft, for me personally, for the college basketball that I watch and listening to people, I think that the draft was really Cooper Flag, Dylan Harper, and then everybody else was kind of close into each other. I think with Dylan Harper, I think you get a good guard. I think you get a good scoring guard. Get scoring shooting guard, combo guard can play the point sometimes. But at San Antonio, so now San Antonio has pieces. San Antonio has a lot of pieces. They have a lot of good guards. They had back-to-back rookies of the year in Castle and Wemby. They have pieces to move. They have Keldon Johnson there. They have Vassell there. They have Castle. They have Dylan. They got a lot of people they could really get active with if they wanted to. Now, if they wanted to get them a star to play with Victor. Like, and then you still got De'Aaron Fox.
Fox, yeah, about to mention him.
Guard. So I like what the Spurs are doing. I think the Spurs can use what they have and some of the young pieces and not mortgage the farm, but still have more, like give away a little bit to receive something. Say if Giannis is really thinking about dipping, got a good little package with some picks. If you give up like Vassell, Keldon Johnson, and then you mess around and get Giannis with some picks, you got a little good package right there, but you don't really lose nothing giving up Vassell or something, one of them boys, because you went and got you another guard, Dylan Harper, who I think, far as ready to play, I think him and Cooper Flag are the 2 ones that's like ready to go in my eyes right now. Get out there, play, can score, can get you some buckets, and play good basketball in my eyes.
Yeah. You can't put no more to that. I mean, it's just a good collection of young talent. Again, I see just the same with Dylan, bro. Like, as far as being pro ready, game ready, bro, it's him and Cooper. You know what I'm saying? I also see we're gonna get into a little bit with your boy Bailey. I can make an argument for him too, but he got his own saga that he's kicking off right now. But just sticking with the Spurs, but they got a great collection of young talent. Wing players. You got, Wemby, who's going to be a perennial all-star, bro. Like, so, Castle, you know what I'm saying, just rookie of the year last year. So, I'm always down for a youth move, especially if it's homegrown. That means your front office is doing their damn job. You know what I'm saying? That means everybody that's sitting up there in those suites and those boxes are wearing their binoculars and they seeing the game the same way. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make life hard either that, you pick that you get to pick in, the lottery spots either. So that definitely helps out. But all those years of, picking there was for naught, because we have seen cases where people who are like have repeat attenders to that lottery spot and they have yet to come out of those lottery positions because of poor drafting, or they went right instead of went left. You know what I'm saying? So this could very well be the last year if everything works out. It's good, you know what I'm saying? This could be the moment where, like, all right, we got our bag, let's go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So hats off to him. I'm excited to see what happens down there in San Antonio. And shout out to Harrison Barnes too. While he over there too. Don't want to mistake that.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna get the Sixers took VJ Edgecombe. I think this is a good pick. I really like the pick. I really like what the Sixers kind of got, and I think they kind of fell up on it. You still got Embiid and Paul George, but you also got a star in Maxey. You got a Jeremy McCain who was hurt, who looked good. Now you add this young guard here. So you kind of got 2 things going for you. You kind of got the youth movement, and you kind of got the win right now movement. So I kind of think they set themselves up where, like, maybe this Embiid experiment don't work out. I think with the young players they got, especially if VJ like really turns out to be pretty decent, now I can say, hey yo, maybe it might be time to trade and get some pieces for Embiid, and maybe it's time for it to be Tyrese Maxey team.
Before I get there, I had an issue with like, okay, what do you get in Edgecombe that you don't get in Maxey? So you still got, it's just another 6'3" guard. You know what I'm saying? You don't add too much, you know what I'm saying? Shooting, he can score. You know what I'm saying? He's supposed to get into the rim, but other than that, what am I missing as far? And they got another 6'3" guard there already too, outside of Maxey. So
I think it gives you scoring. I think it gives you like scoring at the guard position. Like it gives you like 3 scorers. If him, McCain, and if Maxey, McCain, and Edgecombe work out, it gives you 3 scorers, like 3 legit scorers. And yeah, they at the guard position, but now you can add some wings with them. Maybe add like say Embiid don't work out, go get you another big man. But it adds like one can play point. One is obviously gonna come off the bench, but like then it gives you scoring. I think VJ and it's like best available right there, and I think it fits for them. I mean, who else would you gonna take right there? I mean, I think they wasn't too high on taking Ace right there. They didn't talk to him, and I don't think Daryl and they canceled that meeting. I mean, we go down the list. I think Knoepel, yeah, he's a shooter. I love that pick for Charlotte. That's one thing I think Charlotte did good. I think I hope I said his name right. Knoepel, I think I said it right. Knockdown 3-point shooter. I love that for Charlotte. You got LaMelo, you got Brandon Miller. Okay, let's get somebody that can spread the floor while they attack the basket. I like that for Charlotte. Ace at Utah, even though he don't want to be there, and we'll get into it. I think it's a good position for Ace, me personally. Like, you want to score buckets. Ain't nobody else. Well, nobody scoring buckets in Utah. You know what I'm saying? Like, team wasn't good. You don't get plenty of run, plenty of chance to play. I don't get that. Don't get that. We're gonna talk a little bit more about that. That's a deeper conversation. Let me get into one pick that I really liked.
So
I like Derek Queen going to New Orleans at 13. Maryland product, Maryland kid, DMV kid. I think his game, I think he's gonna be the one where they'll be like, dang, he made it all the way to 13. Like, I think when this draft is redrafted down the road, they're gonna be like it wasn't 12 other players better than him. I think he is he's a prototypical. I think he is a big that can play in this NBA. Now, if he can show that he can play defense and rebound, he about 6'9", so he played at the 4, but he's not that athletic, but he got a good shot, know how to get to his spots, know how to get past defenders. If he can rebound and play decent defense, I think he has a chance over there with Zion, if he can stay healthy, to be like a good scorer, like a 20 and 10 guy. For me, I really like him a lot. I think his game is going to do even more in pro than it did in at college, me personally.
Yeah. All right. Well, if I'm gonna stay local, I'm gonna stay loyal to the soil. I like the Wizards pick. Anything just because it's another. We got another chance at restored faith that this organization's gonna do something. So, but not for nothing, bro. You get Trey Johnson, bro. Probably was regarded probably one of the best shooters in this draft. And God bless you if we don't need somebody to score the ball. So if that's all you can do, and similar to the Jazz situation, bro, ain't nobody else gonna do it. So you got a good chance, a good shot to see the floor. You know what I'm saying? I like what Alex Starr, restore a little bit of the feeling, but maybe him and Trey. Bro, it gives us hope for another. Gives us hope that he might be going the right direction. So, shout out to the Wizards, man.
Yeah, man. So, let's get into it. We ain't gotta waste no time. You see the banner on the YouTube thumbnail. You see what this title's about, man. Let's talk about Ace Bailey a little bit. I don't want to kick this back in, but so much because we don't know all the details. But if we can broaden this out to a bigger conversation of the athletes today. First of all, before we get to Ace Bailey, one thing about the great difference between the NFL draft and NBA draft, these cats hardly didn't show no emotion. Didn't really dap the commissioner up like you would think would be dapped up. And like, bro, like they all knew like they act like they were supposed to be there, which is cool. But like, I'm just used to like drafting like the way my man, what's his name? My man my man from Duke, the center.
Yeah,
That's what I was expecting to see. My man had to sit there and put his head down in tears to get up to go there. Like I don't know. I just didn't feel like we here. I made it. All this hard work. I'm in the NBA now. Hearing my name called, and I'm sitting here. Not like I'm at home hearing my name called. I'm here.
yeah.
So, let's talk about that first. Then we'll get into Ace. But that right there kind of like was weird to me. I ain't gonna hold you.
Yeah. All right. Well, I told y'all weeks ago. Bring back poverty. Man. See, the difference that we seeing is the kids that, can't pull up to the AAU tournament with all the swag and all the merch, all the, the duffel bags and the gears, the warm-ups and all this stuff, in comparison to like days past when jokers was drinking water out of a spigot. They were just pulling up to a random house and drinking water out the side of the house. That you missing that. That's poverty basketball. Good, wholesome poverty basketball. Hey man, when one kid will bring that water jug to the court, that one kid, and like, hey yo, no homo, let me get a waterfall. That's poverty basketball. That's what the game is missing. The game is missing that. Bro, that's not today's game, bro. Everybody feel like they should be there. I mean, shit, you can include Dylan Harper. His father's Ron Harper. We know where he was going to go. Yeah. We knew what his life trajectory was going.
Yeah.
Everybody else is just like, oh yeah, shit, all them summer camps I done been to, all those league tournaments, I done been here and played basketball here, there, and everywhere. I done played basketball with a fox. I played basketball in the box. I done did everything. So shit, now I better make it to the draft. So
I just didn't see the enthusiasm that I see with some players. And that brings us into the Ace situation. So the Ace Bailey, really, which the pre-draft stuff I really have no problem with. He tried to dictate where he wanted to go. He wanted to go certain places. I think Washington, Brooklyn, some of the places outside of the top 5 he wanted to go to. He didn't want to go. He didn't want to go to Philly. And he wanted to hear certain plans of how teams were going to use him. He didn't work out for anybody. Some people say that's a crazy thing. Me personally, I don't. He got tape and he worked out the NBA combine. And so him working out for people, like you knew if you were gonna draft Ace Bailey or not. Like, come on, like you saw it. So I'm not tripping on that. Now I heard he didn't meet with some people. That's the part I don't like. Like everybody has to go through an interview process. Everybody has to at least talk. I'm not gonna put an investment in a young man if I don't talk to him. So he didn't do that with some teams and really was discouraging some teams from drafting him. Cool. I'm really okay with all that before the draft. People have done that. Like players, agents have tried to do that for the NBA, try to manipulate where they go. It didn't work out. Utah ended up without seeing him work out and talking to him very briefly. They decided to take him at number 5. You can physically see that he was unhappy on draft night and getting drafted by this team.
Yeah.
He was surprised and unhappy. Now, since the days that went on, some sentiment has changed. Now, is he going to play for the Jazz? Like I have on the thumbnail for the title of this pod, I absolutely think he'll play for the Jazz this year. And I think he'll show up. They said he's supposed to show up tomorrow. They have a press conference Sunday. I think everything will start to fall into place. I think that his team didn't do a good job managing the aftermath. You can do all of that, right?
Yeah.
You can do all the stuff you've done before. No problem with trying to dictate where you want to go. Do your best. Once you got drafted, now the message would have been, hey, all that's in the past. I'm happy to be in the NBA. yo, shout out. We're gonna be in Utah. I'm gonna go out here. I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna play. Don't look physically upset. Don't look like you trying, like, say your team's still trying to move in the background, trying to make some changes.
Right.
It's changed now. Now you're in the NBA. You know what I'm saying? You're here. It's a dream of yours. Might not have been a team you wanted to be with, but you're here. So I think they didn't handle the aftermath of this right. And now this young man is getting his back kicked in. Because I really think he's getting horrible advice. And whatever agent he has, he needs to fire him and get new representation. Because, for real. Because you did the first part right. You can try to manipulate where you want to go.
Yeah.
Evan Mobley didn't even work out for the Cleveland Cavaliers. And they still picked him. Right? But they didn't know, right? Because why is your team scheduling a meeting and everything with the workout with the Sixers and canceling the day before? All this should have been known off the rip. After the combine, I would have sent a letter out to all 32 teams. Or how many teams? I think it's 30 teams in the NBA. 17 or 32 maybe. I sent a letter out and said, hey, this is physical. You saw him at the combine. Ace will not be working out for any teams, but he is open for interviews. Open to talk.
Oh, selected interviews. Selected.
Yeah, selected interviews. Reach out, and we will reach out to you. We can set up some interviews.
Yeah.
It would have been no misunderstanding that I'm not working out for nobody. So you wouldn't have a chance to schedule a workout. Kind of told you off the rip, he's not working out for anybody. Now you don't get all this messiness leading up to the draft, right? Of you canceling workouts and stuff like that. If you knew you wasn't going to work out for anybody, you can send a letter out. You can send a mass thing out to all teams. Right? So that's the part that they didn't handle well. And then the other part why I'll fire them, because now you're not handling the aftermath well. Now you got to go to Ace and be like, Ace, smile. Ace, do these interviews. Ace, we got to be right now. Okay, we here now. We tried. This is where we at. Hey, you ain't got no leverage, so you got to be here because what we're going to do, we're going to make the best of it, get your endorsements, all that stuff, we're going to make the best of it. And then when the time come around again, then maybe we can do something different. But right now, we have to clean up the media mess. Right now. Don't let the media control the narrative. That's what I got a problem with his representation. The reputation let the media control the narrative. There's nothing wrong with trying to dictate where you want to play. But when it didn't work out, now you gotta come back. We here. It's a privilege to be here. I'm happy to be here. So I hope on this Sunday press conference he's been prepped and he goes in there with a good attitude. So this can move past him, because honestly, I think he has the most upside out of all these players. I ain't said that before, but I think Ace Bailey has the most upside out of all these players. Long kid, lengthy kid. I think he's a great scorer. I think he can be a great player in this league. Actually, I think like when it's all said and done, if he reaches his full potential, I think it's going to be like, why wasn't he drafted number one? I think he's really that good. I think he's talented. But let's go ahead and get this part right and let's move past it.
Bro, ain't really much to add to that. I mean, I think it's just like Ant said, bro. It's just, yeah, you try to call your shot from the beginning. You try to call your shot, not workouts, don't want to meet with this team, that team. All right, cool. You kind of control what you can't control. But once that selection is in, and maybe even after that, you try to huddle with your team a little bit, like, hey, stay seated, or don't take an interview just yet because something might happen in these next 5 to 15 minutes. After that, we going on camera. We saying, hey, we found our new home. We're putting out a full fast break press. Hey, this is the place we always wanted to be at. You can't make no gripes, can't throw no stones about where you at now. You know what I'm saying? All that had to been hashed out before draft night. In those meetings with your representation, you're having these conversations of, if we go here, we move like this. If it just happens that this team picks us, we ask for this. You have those meetings with your representation, saying, hey, if we land in any of these spots, we had discussions with this organization. That's the whole point of the interview, or saying you sitting down with these teams. At least you can say, hey, not just for me, but my representation has also met this organization as well.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're not the only person that's going up there to meet those teams.
Yeah.
Everybody has to buy in. So now I know who to contact. Hey, if come draft night, if you are upset or if this selection ain't what you want, again, in that next 5 to 15 minutes, hey, you know what I'm saying, go up to the stage, do what you got to do, but come back and sit down before we go on camera.
Mm-hmm.
We ain't doing no interviews right now.
Mm-hmm.
But now we're, you know what I'm saying, it's been, 2 days since. You know, we get reports about how you drag, you know what I'm saying, you drag your feet, you don't want to go to Utah just yet. You know, whether that's the case or not, because y'all haven't said nothing. You didn't travel with the other first round pick. You didn't travel with him. So all we left with the speculation is that you just a kid with a tantrum. We get to call you ungrateful. Like all those years at Rutgers meant nothing.
Yeah.
All the time at Rutgers meant nothing.
And then like you was at a Rutgers team that like had like I don't even know if they made the playoffs. They wouldn't even made the tournament. That team underachieved with 2 lottery picks there, 2 top 5 picks on it. So that's a lot to be said. Now, like the deeper discussion, let's take it off of Ace. Deeper discussion is like, is this what we're looking at when it comes to this new athlete, the new NIL athlete, the new AAU athlete, the new endorsement since high school athletes? Because people forget NIL does not just start in college. They can get endorsements in high school.
Yeah.
So are we moving towards this type of athlete where like, and this is why I wanted Ace to like really look at his representation. This is not college. These owners will make an example out of you. They don't care how good you are. If the owners don't want that type of style of stuff happening in the NBA, they will band together and you will mess around, get that first contract, and they'll make you a problem. Look at DeMarcus Cousins. Got him out of here real quick. You know what I'm saying? So you can't buck the system but so much in these leagues because the owners still hold the checkbook.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how good your talent is, and they think that you're a problem that can cause problems down the road, they will band together and you be playing overseas.
Yeah.
That's just real. But like this new NIL athlete, they've been feeling like they've been having the leverage ever since high school. Now you get somewhere where this is a grown man sport with contracts. Don't have as much leverage because these contracts are set in place and it's a draft process. You're not getting recruited. How are some of these kids that's going to come up going to handle that when they've been given everything since high school just because they was really good athletes? Even more now the money aspect at an earlier age has came into play. Some of these kids are making big NIL monies in college, so the money doesn't move them like it used to.
Bingo. The moments that we were speaking about before, where you know I joke around with bring poverty back, but those moments of draft night were so monumental and game changing, or excuse me, life changing for kids, because it's like, all right, this is the day where I'm setting my family up. Mm-hmm. This is the day where I bridge the gap from here to wealth. Mama ain't got to work no more. I'm buying mama a house. That was the night that signified the rest of our lives is going to change. That's what that night signified. That we all out the jacks. We moving. We gone. Mama ain't going to have to work again. Mama ain't going to have to work no more. That day came and went. You know what I'm saying? Before we even got the draft night. Boy, I've been counting these NIL checks for about, for a couple years now. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, mama showing up to draft night, you know what I'm saying, and Bottega. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying, we wearing Cartier frames, you know what I'm saying, when we hit the stage. Like, yeah, we got it on. We put it on tonight. And we've been putting it on for the past couple of years. You know what I'm saying? There's a pool in the backyard now. You know what I'm saying? Like we got money. Even if I'm the first one in this family to get money, most of these players come from that.
Yeah.
Where again, the AAU tournaments and the traveling cross country to play ball. Like, bro, this is a new athlete. This is basketball has become more privileged sport. Or a sport for the privileged.
That is
if anything. So yeah, a lot of these things that used to sway decisions or used to be a burden or be like, man, that monkey been off our back.
Mm-hmm.
So when I show up to this event, yeah, I show up to your little draft event. Yeah, I get on stage, like, bro, because it's an afterthought now. I'm more so worried about, like, man, I ain't no market over there in Utah. I don't get no endorsements over there. Not like I would if I went to here or there. You know what I'm saying? It got to be bigger now.
Yeah, and I just think that, like, this is where the love-hate relationship with NIL comes in. The way playing athletes comes in. Like, I stood on this hill many times. I believe all that's happening right now is NCAA fault. Like, the amateurism thing was crazy all them years. And you could have set a bracket up where, like, certain programs or whatever, this is how much you could pay players, or gave them some of the profits. So now we're in the wild, wild west, and that canister's never going back in the bag. There's no way to limit it. Nothing's like that. It's already on court cases. Nothing you can limit. Now the court cases passed where teams can pay players directly. Now it don't have to be through an NIL or collective where, like, the school can pay them directly. So it's just now, like, what athlete are we having now? Like, and it's not saying that like the talent is worse, but like you said, I think basketball is going to become one of the more privileged sports. It's going to be like soccer in the United States. Soccer everywhere else in the world is a poor man's sport. You look at Pele, you look at some of the best soccer players come from the slums. Besides the United States. That's probably why our national team ain't that good. But besides in the United States, man, no problem. That is why our national team ain't that good. The United States, soccer is a privileged sport. It's hard to play soccer. It's very expensive. Basketball was teetering like that when we was coming up, but you still had good rec leagues. High school ball still mattered. AAU was like the cherry on the top if you did go to AAU. But now the shoe companies have got so deep in it, even the best players don't even pay the best players. And kids now are just paying tons of money or paying tons of money. Yeah, basically paying tons of money to be on AAU teams. So now if you're not able to get on an AAU team, you might have little Johnny that mom and dad can afford to travel all over the world with him or get him an AAU team, but he's killing. He's really a hooper. High school, he kills it. So, but them kids don't get looked at like now. I think it's lazy recruiting going on a lot in the NCAA.
Yeah,
that's basketball and football. Like, there's a lot of lazy recruiting. People want to go, okay, I'll go to this tournament and find the guy, but I'm not about to send people out to different parts of the region and go find 6'5", 6'6" guard that really can put the ball in the hoop. Same thing with football. People are not, they're not going to look. And now with the transfer portal of football, especially, they're waiting for the FCS guys to go find players.
Oh yeah.
Double A guys to go find players. Okay, oh yeah, I like you. Yeah, I got some money. Come on to Power 5. We're waiting for the group of 5 people to find players. They're lazy recruiting. They're not going out here and recruiting kids for real. And back to like the privilege standpoint, basketball is becoming new, like coming just like soccer and baseball, AU baseball. It's privilege now. Like, it doesn't behoove you if you don't have the money or get recruited to one of these AU teams, you're not gonna get seen. And that's how baseball is, and that's how soccer is in the United States. And football hasn't got like that because football still is a local thing. Because you can't AAU too many big boys. Big boys, like high school football still gonna be a big thing. But basketball has really turned, it's like you said, a privileged sport. Well, I think that's going to rub off on what type of player you get to the NBA. A player that feels like, hey, yo, I was supposed to be here. Like, not saying that you don't want to feel like you're supposed to be here, but a player that feels like, yo, I'm meant to be here. Like, this ain't nothing special. I've been making millions of dollars doing NILs and stuff like that and getting paid by the school. This ain't nothing new to me. So next thing, what can I control? Okay, maybe I can do this like college. I want to pick where I want to go. I ain't gonna go. I don't want to go there.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's just that, like, because I guess you just see it more so with basketball because unless you join it up with like a St. Paul's or like a Sierra Canyons, prolific prep, all
Mount Vernon, that Mount Vernon, whatever down there in Florida, that Cooper, Derek Queen. There were 5 guys that got drafted in the first round on that one high school team.
Is Oak Hill still producing like that? I'm not sure.
I can't. I don't remember. I don't keep.
Okay, but I'm just saying of that ilk. But of that ilk, of that like prep school ilk, bro. I think it's just they do their own recruiting there too, or they do their buying to get into those schools too. But again, it's still tournament living. He's still doing a lot of ploying just to get on those tournaments or to get on those stages, so you can, you can show skills or show whatever you want to do. And even in that's not even system basketball. That's just one-on-one basketball every time you get on the court. I mean, you're still getting quality talent, but it is what it is. That's the conversation for another day. But you are going to have that kind of, I'm on my high horse type of attitude, because everything has been, the path forward has already been, been cemented for me. It's already been paid for me. You know what I mean? Ever since, by the time I was in 8th, 9th grade, 7th grade at that, it's already been paid for me. So yeah, I can't knock you now when you get to the stage where you get to the NBA drafts, you kind of feel like this is beneath you. This was the plan. This has been told to you. By the time you hit 10, when we was waiting on you to hit your growth spurt, this has been told to you.
Yeah.
Again, you go to football, there's still those prep schools on the your Biscos, your what's that school out in Vegas?
The West Coast team.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You still got those prep schools. I ain't gonna knock football that much, but yeah, bro. There's a lot. There's too many football players around the world to where you can just say, "Hey, we're gonna get all the most elite football players here." Because that's they play football. There's way too much football going around. Oh, what I'm saying? Especially talking about you a skill position player, because the same weekend that you killed in the 7-on-7 tournament, somebody there's another kid that's on the come up. You know what I'm saying? So, I can moving forward. I think you're just gonna see more of the same. You're gonna see more of the same. That that basketball, that ticket price is going up, or the cost to play the sport is going up, and only a select few. And it's gonna be, I'll be damned if I say the select few that gets to play that sport, their parents got some chicken. They got some bread already. They're saying, so it's gonna be it's gonna be a lot of white collar basketball moving forward.
Yeah, I mean that's just what it is. That's where we at. In America, it's funny that some of the most sports that cost the least amount to play are turning into some of the more expensive sports to play in America. Soccer, all you need is a field and 2 nets, bro, and a ball. Basketball, all you need is a hoop and a basketball. Like they're like 2 of the most easy accessible sports to play. 2 of the most common, the 2 most common out of the major sports to play that's played in the world. Like this is like what I'm saying, like how America, like capitalism just works. That's how capitalism works in America. Shoe companies saw they can sell shoes that way, they took it over. And now these kids are making hand. Now these kids can get paid directly, hand over fist now. So now it's like the money is not the influence anymore. Like, oh, I got to do this. I'm trying to get NBA and make the millions. Well, I'm already been up 2-3 M's before I even got here.
Yeah, mommy and daddy already made sure they was 6 figures up already by the time I stepped on the court. But saying how art reflects life. I mean, it's just the socio-economic status of the world, or just of the U.S. Like that parallel of a robust middle class has now turned into a robust lower middle class. So that lower middle class is now seeing that we can't afford, our kids can't afford certain things that the upper middle class can. That's when you start to see that separation amongst resources and that talent level also goes with that. So those kids that can, those are the kids that starting to make that cut, or make it to that next level, or make it to the next stage, because hey, we got the peso to say so. And we can pay for that extra camp. We can pay for that extra tournament. We can pay for that extra session to where my kid can be here. And that's the difference for me making it, going from Oak Hill to a power, a power four school, as opposed to going from Westview or Westlake High School and now making it to, I don't know, FCS school, then yeah, that's the difference. And that's what I'm paying for now while my kid is in the 8th grade. That's what I'm paying for.
Yeah. So, man, shout out to everybody that got drafted, though. Shout out to y'all. Hope everybody has success in their career and embarking on a new journey, man. Just a new athlete, man. It's a new normal of sports and a new normal of, how it's no more amateurism. Everybody's semi-pro or pro, so that's just where we're at. But like that, man. IDK Sports Podcast, your premier spot to talk sports with the average guys. My name is Anthony. This is my main man, Kenny. On YouTube, live, right here every Thursday. Like, share, subscribe. Until the next time, I holla.